I was wondering, because I'm just appreciative you've given us a lot of time. I was wondering if there's an example project you could talk us through with maybe some of the different kind of co-creation methods that you used.
Okay, so yes, for example, let me go for, okay, I'm going to give you an example. And this other part of the web that we didn't explore yet. So in what we do, what we are having in the web is, is this, we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. These are the 6 lines of interest in which we are working now, right? So revalorizing digital collections, collaborative creation, libraries and museums, educational apps, linking physical and digital, and novel paradigms of storytelling. For example, I Am My Own Drawing, the project I told you before, is novel paradigms of storytelling, for example, right? But we have been working with this collaborative creation. Collaborative creation is an example, is a very good example because you can see different faces here. So we are two from there. This is me. This is Dimosthenis Karaxas, also Associate Director of the Computer Vision Center, and this is Jordi Rodriguez. So Jordi Rodriguez is a user. He's a user of the Living Lab. And Jordi Rodriguez is what can be called an alpha user. So he's someone that, you know what, we had this course of 3D printing, foundations of 3D printing. So he attended to this workshop, and after the workshop, he could print in 3D. So yes, you know what happens that when you are printing in 3D and you already know how to print in 3D, that's it. I mean, you cannot tell any more about that. You can do projects, but that's it. So he told us, so it was Jordi who told us, you know, guys, you are doing it wrong. We don't need another 3D printing course. What we need is a project, a community project based on 3D printing, right? And he said, if you want, I lead it. So that's nice because it was taking overhead from me, and I could trust him because he really wanted to do it. He explained me his project, and his project was, okay, let's create a remote controlled Formula One. So the idea is that Jordi Rodriguez is now the face of this project, and he's a user and Living Lab enthusiast. So they wanted to create this Formula One printed with the 3D printing, and in order to do that, we needed some expertise about radio control. So we found an expert in radio control. We found an expert in design, and we created this radio control 3D printed Formula One, working together with some people and during 1 or 2 months. So at the end of the day, we have this outcome, which is the project Formula One of the Library Living Lab, and you can connect it to the web, you can download it, you have some photos around the process, etc. So what happened? That when we finished that, you want more. And then they said, okay, let's make a drone now. So one of the persons that have been working with the 3D printing process was Andreu. And Andreu is an enthusiast of drones. So he helped us with the radio control, but then we asked him to do it for the drones. And he did a step forward because he was learning a lot with the people that was working in the 3D printing stuff. And he didn't know a lot about 3D printing, but he knew a lot about drones. So we created a drone. And now we're having this Living Lab drone created by the community. And they are creating their own methodologies. I mean, they have a blog, they are having their reporting process and everything they are using the WhatsApp for meeting, and they are meeting, for example, every Friday. But if they want to meet more time, they can just WhatsApp, and the librarians let them get in. So once you finish that, and I will finish with this, they said, okay, you know what? Let's do something with the family. And they have created this 3D catamaran. And Jordi Martí, he's got his sons and daughters. So said, okay, let's do something with my family. And so now he's living this, creating a catamaran with the family. The project is already documented, already on the web, etc. So when you do this, the librarians told us, why can we have what should we have a 3D printing or a 3D printing device or 3D printer in the library? I think that the answer is, first, because the library is a place for the meeting. It's a meeting point. And you have a lot of knowledge around here. And the knowledge is not about the books only. It's about the people sharing different activities. So at the end, what we have created is an active community that is feeding all together with the different skills that they are having, and they are learning a lot together. So by facilitating the spaces and some of the resources that are not that expensive, then we can create a more active community. And now this community has done, some of them, they have done the leap to robotics. So now the next workshop that we are doing is going to be on robotics. So this is like, okay, we're having a community that started with knowing how to print in 3D. And we are starting now we're getting to a community with alpha users that can teach other users how to do robotics and how to compete in robotic competitions, for example. So I think this is a good example. And the only thing you need for that is just to give an enabler. The enabler here is the 3D printer and the lessons for 3D printing, to allow the user to identify, very important, these alpha users, that can lead the activities, and to give power to them. The power of accessing, the power of choosing. This is a process. This is not something that you decide from day 1 to day 2. You have to create the confidence. You have to talk with the users. You have to share projects with them. It takes time, but when it happens, you consolidate the activities.
That's right. I mean, it's such a great expansion, like you say, from having the kind of lessons through to this kind of snowballing effect of one layer upon another and another, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And I think that's really interesting. That you can get not only a lead user to lead that, but it's also each time you're incorporating someone else who's taking on a leading role as the person gets onto a next project.
Yeah. Yes. You don't need all of them to be like that. I mean, for example, some of the methodologies you talked before about these methodologies, and some of the methodologies that we identified. I mean, for us, you can have these alpha users, but from all the users that we are having in the library, maybe you will find 1 or 2. If you are very, very lucky, 3 alpha users. Most of them will be like beta, gamma, and delta. No, beta is someone who, yes, I'm very enthusiastic today, but you know what? In 3 months, you will not see me because I will be in a different thing. No, or the gamma will be someone with, from time to time, is there, and the delta is someone who, okay, you know what? If I like it, maybe I can come down and go to the library, but yes, ignore me. But we really need beta, gamma, and delta. And the challenge here is not how to integrate the alphas. The alphas, they integrate themselves. You have to stop them. Right? Yeah. The challenge here is just to know that you have some beta, gamma, and delta, and to take profit, and to provide them with the space to do their beta-ness or to do the gamma-ness as much as they could. No? We are doing this in our methodological approach by using a challenge, action, and return approach. For all the things that we are doing in the Libre Lab, we are defining this challenge, action, and result. And we do not anything if we don't have these 3 things very well defined. Yeah. In order to do it, we define it with the librarians, and we define it with the university all together. So when we are okay, we can. This is an executive board. We just create one description, and we go for the action.
That's great. So so you need to have a clear. So the result is that. The result, that there's going to be some of these things up the web, or is that also including like measures of impact and how it changed the community, for example?
For example, and I think that the right answer is for example, because some actions could have a given return. For example, I am my own drawing. The result is it's a workshop, but it is also a story. So you have a repository of stories, and now this creates a new arrow to the library. The library is no longer only a contents provider, but a contents receiver, right? And the result is also software. This could be an open source software, but that could be also a company. This is the outcome. And if you have this company, you can repeat the workshop another day, right? So outcomes are different. For example, a simple outcome could be just a fun moment, right? Just a moment of fun.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, then the next time you can get the community and propose them a more interesting thing. So I am not really stressed about the fact that all the results that you are getting should be high impact or should have very, very good indicators, all of them, no? But what I think is compulsory is that if you are inviting someone to be something, to do something, or to participate into something, there should be an explicit and clear description of what this person is getting from doing this activity. This person or this institution, right? And this is what we understand as our result, as the outcome. What I am getting from this? Because if I don't agree in what I am getting, I don't want to participate. I want to be free to responsibly decide that I don't want to get in.
So what difference do you think, looking across the projects, so the Living Lab as a whole, what difference has that made to the community that backed it initially?
Oh, you mean the difference between the processes or the difference between the members of the community?
The fact that sort of the Living Lab as a whole, what difference is it made, do you think?
Okay. All right. Well, okay, so yes, first of all, from an administration point of view, from a policy making perspective, right? This has created tension, right? Because we all together are out of our area of comfort, right? So my area of comfort is the lecture room and my research center. No one is disturbing me there. I don't need to complicate my life, right? I will have my salary at the end of the month, and this is very comfortable.
Yeah.
And that is the truth. I mean, we really should be very clear about that. This is something that it is not happening. I mean, at least in Spain, we went through very, very hard years during the last year, and we are still very, very hard years. So we have areas of comfort. Some of us are living in areas of comfort, right? When we are out of the areas of comfort, that creates tension and stress. And that happens also with the public administration. So if you're asking someone to do something out of its area of comfort, it is going to have some problems. And some people is going to be upset with someone else. And this will happen because you're out of your area of comfort. This will happen. So what we have seen is that it has been an internal transformation in some of the protocols that are happening in institutions that are working with us, and in our own institution as well. When I mean about these tensions, we are having internal tensions as well, but these tensions come from the friction. So we want these tensions to happen because they push us in order to modify our institutional mechanisms in order to adapt to the innovation processes. Right? So innovation is not automatic. So it needs some measures to be taken. If we are talking about the neighbors, I think that this helped first to provide a space that they see as their own space, right? To create a discourse as a community, right? to have a tool saying, you know what, we are the neighborhood of Golpalleras and in San Cugat, and we did this for this living lab also, so we are proud, right? So we want to be listened. We want you to listen to us because, you know, when we gather all together, we can do things, right? So I think that it also helps, from my perspective, helps to create a sense of community. Even if you don't visit the lab, it is the same thing. I mean, it's a community that can create things, even if you don't like it or you don't visit the lab. So I would say these two things. First, the internal transformation, and second, one of the reference for the sense of community.
And presumably there's some economic benefit from the kind of new services that people are creating as well, because there'll be an expansion of activity there. Is that?
Yes, but that is not direct. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I would say that the presence of the Living Lab there will have, or have had, a small economical impact, and will have a reduced economical impact. Yes. It is not the main objective. I mean, it's not a driver for a strong economical development of the city. I think that there are other policies that should be tackling at that. But what I think is that it has it can have an effect in the way of which on which this economical impact can take place. Because if you are integrated, these companies around the neighborhood or around the city, and if you are integrated, the actors from the schools, for example, or from the municipality, etc., you are changing, you are transforming the way in which this economical impact can happen. You are giving new ideas. You are having an effect on how you can think the things that can be done, right? So this is the enabling role of technology. This is the technology as an enabling factor, right? So this is the like we like to see it. Technology is not a tool for sending things or a tool for selling things. It is a possibilitator, an enabler of new things to happen with more economical impact.
That's wonderful. I'm just noticing the time, and I could keep talking forever, but you've been very, very generous with your time, and I think
don't worry.
I should probably let you go soon. But I'll ask one sort of question. Any other kind of tips, like advice that that you haven't already covered that you'd like to give anyone who's either setting up a living lab or running a living lab in Australia?
Yes. Well, okay. The first thing, I mean, I think it really doesn't matter if you call it a living lab or you call it a different thing, right? Here, the point, from my perspective, is the community, the network, is the key point of the living lab approach, right? So if you're having a living lab or having something that you don't really think that it is a living lab, it's not important. It's not relevant. The most relevant thing is that the citizen is in the center. And the citizen in the center means not only individuals, but the network of these individuals. And the second thing, so what I would say is this should be from the beginning. No planification is needed from that. In fact, by having them from the beginning, you can have a better planning of what is going to happen in the future. So this would be the first one. And the second one, I mean, I don't know. You have been in Galicia. You said that you had been in Galicia. You know, you have the St. Jacob's Way, El Camino de Santiago, right? So St. Jacob's Way. I'm going to have a little bit of publicity to my hometown, to my home place, right? So St. Jacob's Way is a pilgrim way that for centuries people from all around Europe has been traveling to Santiago, right? And they were moved by inner forces in order to transform their lives, right? So the goal was to get to Santiago, right? From all around Europe, walking to Santiago de Compostela and then getting back to their home places. And it took not days, it took weeks or months to get to Santiago, but through the process of getting there, through the trip, they got transformed, and they got transformed forever, and they became anew. They became anew. So people nowadays, they continue doing the Camino de Santiago, Santiago's way, and you can get a flight and get to Santiago, and that's it, you know. And
yeah.
But people choose to walk. People still choose to walk the way, because it is in the way where the transformative process happens. So I think that this innovation approach is a little bit like this way. I mean, it's in the process, it's in the way, in this way to our final goal, in which a transformation is happening, and probably a transformation that you didn't think of could happen again. So seeing it as an open process, as an open path, maybe help it a lot. And if you think that it is difficult, maybe you can go directly to Santiago de Compostela and see the Seine and have some inspiration. I don't know.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Well, okay, it's been tremendous, and I'm well over time, so thank you so much. Oh, actually, there is one final question. So, are you looking for any international collaborations?
Yes, definitely. This is something that maybe I didn't stress before, but when I talked about network, network is not only your local network. You really need. I mean, it's in some moment to speak to people from other areas, from other countries, because this is the only way to reach this open innovation paradigm. But me as a researcher, I mean, one of the tasks that I have is just to establish solid, robust, and high-impact international projects, because it's in the mission of my own organization. So if you are really open to establish international collaborations, we are really happy to do it, and we will be open to, to identify the way in which you can get it.
Wonderful.